I found it very rich to explore three biblical roads in thinking about the church and its mission today. One road is the Emmaus Road. And I use that road to talk about when communities of Jesus gather. And I love Skillibeck's term for that, communities of Jesus. Their hearts burned within them, the breaking of the bread. But it was also an encounter in which Jesus said two little words that turned everything. What things? In other words, Jesus listened and went where they were at, and that they brought that to the table. A week of listening in the community, in our places of practicing that presence of God, we bring that to the Emmaus table. And we leave from there as witnesses to the resurrection. So that's the way I've talked about churches, parishes, and so on. The Emmaus Road. And amen. Second road, Damascus Road. Life encountering and life-changing encounters with the risen Christ in the midst of our daily, he was going to go put a few more people in the Huzgah. Paul was stunned by the resurrection of Jesus from the dead, and he never got over it. Amen. That animated his mission more than anything. So the Emmaus Road is a way of talking about our spiritual formation, our spiritual journeys, our discipleship, our work that we do in Baidoa, whether we name the name or not. Okay. But the third road, and unfortunately the road we never get to, is Jericho Road. And that is where we do not walk by on the other side when we put kids in jail at the border. Amen. When we don't walk by on the other side when kids in our city are killed every day. The Jericho Road is both about binding up. It is a Diakonia Road. But also, as Dr. King said, fix the damn road. So it's both binding up, and it's that justice ministry, and it is right. Jesus said in his inaugural sermon, you want to know where you're going to get a hint that God is there? The poor have good news. The naked are clothed. The hungry are fed. And the Jericho Road starts with stopping and noticing. It doesn't have to be that we do that much. And so I want to end with, there are two things that I'm doing besides parish ministry as I flunk retirement. One is working with Diakonia. The other is working with the Southwestern Texas Synod at the border. I just came back from Eagle Pass, where we did a retreat for 50 leaders. San Lucas Lutheran Church is also the place where when detainees are let out of ICE, they come to this church. And this church is the first time these people will hear after this journey, and I can tell you, I've been in San Pedro Sula, I've been in San Salvador, I've been in Tapachula, Mexico. I've seen what happens to these people, why they would divest their families of themselves. Why would you do that if there wasn't a reason? Wow. That it's more dangerous there than it is here. And at San Lucas was the first time someone said, we're glad you're here. And that congregation welcomed them. They had a mariachi band. It was amazing. And we did a retreat with 50 people. And you know what? They're red and blue state people. There are border guards in that congregation. If our churches can't be places that offer the opportunity to get out of our echo chambers and really listen to each other, and to finally say that something like ripping families apart at the border, or continually killing young black lives, if that doesn't transcend everything, and if we can't talk about it in church, and if we're afraid of that, and so that's a reason that I'm heartened by Diakonia, because there are people, because finally what we need to cultivate, I believe, is evangelical courage. that it is okay to disagree, and we do. When I shared my border village and an interim ministry I was doing in Naperville at Good Shepherd, there were a lot of people lining up, ticked off. But in the conversation, we learned from each other.
Wow.
And that's, so I just kind of wanted to end with the church. So those three roads, and I think they need to continually intersect.
Yeah.
Emmaus Road, life encounters with Jesus, the risen Lord. The Emmaus Road, the Damascus Road, and the Jericho